TGIF, happy Friday. Oh, whatever. Skip doesn't care what day it is, Stephen A. I don't know if you can see him shaking his head. Good morning, everybody. Yours truly, Skip Bayless.
Oh, thank you, Molly.
Molly Caramere on the East Coast in Bristol.
He's so happy she has a weekend off.
Whatever.
Oh, way to go.
I need a break from him, Stephen A. Can you blame me? Stephen A's
No,
all
I
over the
cannot
place.
blame you. No, I cannot blame you. How y'all doing?
Yeah, I cannot
kidding.
blame you. You get to be in L.A. today while we're stuck in little old Bristol, little old cold Bristol, Connecticut.
Well,
what a life you have. What a job you have.
Before you whine a little bit too much, keep in mind that before I'm here, I actually have to get here. And imagine what that is like.
I'm so sorry for you. I just feel for you, and I'm going to take it easy on you because you had such a long night and a rough trip to L.A.
This is actually one of those days where I might actually need you to take it a little bit easy on me. I mean, usually I'm beating you down, so I don't blame you if you don't do that, if you decide not to, but it is what it is. It is what it is.
Skip's on one today.
Yeah,
All right, let's work, gentlemen. Ryan Clark will also be with us later in show. So the line in Vegas has been a fluid situation for the Carolina-Denver game. By Wednesday evening, the early action had moved the consensus line at Vegas Sportsbook to 5.5, up a point from most of the posted opening numbers. Now, of course, Carolina being favored. William Hill, U.S., telling ESPN the public is clearly enamored with the supposed mismatch of Cam Newton over Peyton Manning. Nearly every ticket is on Carolina, and it doesn't show any signs of slowing up. The head odds makers at the Westgate Las Vegas Superbook said that the Carolina money won't be slowing down in the coming week. Carolina favored by 5.5 to win the championship. Skip, what do you make of all this?
Stephen A. Smith, the truth is, you might have to take it easy on me today because I'm telling you, from my heart, I am depressed about this Super Bowl.
Why?
Because for me, the bottom has fallen out of this Super Bowl, and it did when the Patriots and Tom Brady barely fell short last Sunday at Denver. Because to me, I'm with the bettors here. I think they're on the right track this time. I do think that Carolina will win this game fairly easily. And I do have Carolina on my mind, and I'm going to have Carolina on my mind for 2 long weeks because I don't have much of Denver on my mind. I'm sorry, but I just don't. And to me, this Super Bowl, let me get this off my chest. I do love me some Tom Brady, but I think I'm being objective when I say this Super Bowl would have been so much more captivating for 2 long weeks building up to it, so much more electrifying to watch, and certainly so much more debatable if it had been Tom Brady versus Cam Newton. Because we all know Tom Brady has got some edge to him. He was convicted in the court of public opinion as the cheater who lied about deflating the footballs. And we all know that Tom Brady is capable of going flat-out psycho Tom during games and running around like a crazy man as he celebrates his touchdowns. And that means that for some people, Tom Brady can be, in my humble opinion, at least as quote-unquote hateable as Cam Newton can be. And I still assert that Cam Newton's more beloved than some people think. But that would be the debate for 2 long weeks. Boy, would I be into that. I think the world would be into that. And I'm not really into this because I said last week, I've got my everybody says syndrome. And it was the reason I was trying to convince myself to pick Denver over my Patriots 1 week ago, right now, sitting in this seat. Because when everybody says, as they are now, that one team is going to win, my history tells me it's wise to bet on the other team until now. Everybody said last week that New England would have its way at Denver. No contest. And I was trying to say, timeout. Tom Brady has no running game to keep a pass rush honest, very little offensive line to protect him, and he's in Denver, thanks to Bill Belichick, up against the #1 defense that led the NFL in sacks. And I still say that last week in Denver, minus home field advantage thanks to Bill Belichick, that the Broncos MVP was the loud crowd because Tom Brady couldn't vary his snap count. They just had to snap it on rhythm. And as we all know, and I keep saying, DeMarcus Ware, Von Miller, on your mark, get set, go, rush to the quarterback. And we know what happened there. He almost pulled it out anyway. But in this case, I'm sorry, I can't make any case for Denver on a neutral field, because I must tell you, and maybe you're like me, I'm still a little gun shy over what happened 2 years ago, because you and I agreed 2 years ago this week that Denver would beat Seattle. Peyton Manning would beat young Russell Wilson in his first Super Bowl. And Denver went into that game a 2.5-point favorite. And you know the rest of the story. I think it was the most embarrassing beatdown in Super Bowl history under the circumstance of a favorite, 2.5-point favorite. And it ended almost before it began. 12 seconds in, remember, Peyton wasn't ready for the snap, over his shoulder, back into the end zone, safety. And the sky fell on Peyton and company 43-8. So I think a lot of bettors can't get that out of their mind, and I can't either, because I'm going to say it again. It feels like the year of Cam. It feels like the year of the Panthers. We just watched them destroy Seattle, at least for a half, 31-0, with 2 more takeaways to go with their 39 that led by far through the regular season. Then we saw them flat out destroy Arizona with 7 more takeaways to pile on to their league-leading total. And I'm saying they're going to do the same thing to Denver. It just feels like they're on a Super Bowl roll, and they really have been from start to finish. So it feels like I don't know, I'm being conservative. It feels like a 14-point game to me at the best. So I'm not very excited about it, and I'm sorry for that, but that's the truth. Your thoughts?
All valid points. Can't refute anything that you just said, because this was why I wanted New England, because I wanted Brady versus Cam. So I get exactly where you're coming from, but what I'm not going to do is poo-poo Super Bowl 50 and depress everybody to the point where you're just looking for something. You've got a plan B, an alternative plan. I'm going to do everything that I can to encourage folks to think that this Super Bowl can be competitive, although I can tell you the Carolina Panthers firmly believe they're going to handle their business. They're an extremely confident bunch. We'll see what happens. Here's the deal, Skip. When you look at it from the perspective that you broke down, that's absolutely correct. When you take into account the fact that in terms of touchdowns to turnover ratios, when you think about the fact that Denver's offense, was like 4th in the league in turnovers, only 3 teams committed more turnovers, you got to take that into consideration as well. And as opportunistic as Carolina's defense is, that's just not a good sign for the Denver Broncos, because Carolina defense is no joke. They really, really question whether or not Peyton Manning can throw the football. As a result, they expect to get all up in him. They expect to apply pressure, and we know what that could end up looking like because we saw it 2 years ago. I think this match is definitely reminiscent, or could be reminiscent, of what we saw 2 years ago when Seattle drubbed them 43-8. The Legion of Boom walked up in there. They didn't even have to blitz to apply pressure to Peyton Manning. Also remember that Denver started the game off snapping the ball over Peyton Manning's head. Seattle instantly got a safety, and from there it was just lights out. They were all over Denver. It was never really a matchup to speak of, even though Demaryius Thomas had 13 receptions that game. There were a lot of meaningless catches because Seattle was really, really running away with it. Plus, there was a pick 6 of Peyton Manning as well. You got to look at all of those things and ask yourself, okay, what's going to happen this time? Yes, Peyton Manning had 9 touchdowns, 17 interceptions in a regular season, had a QBR of 44. There was nothing impressive about that at all. The flip side to it, however, Skip, in his last 3 starts, he hasn't turned over the ball at all. He hasn't had any interceptions whatsoever. And if you can keep the turnovers down, okay, then you turn this into a defensive contest. If that happens, here's the question. Do you believe Denver's defense can at least contain Carolina to some degree where Carolina doesn't run away with it? Because the interesting component in all of this, Skip, is what if this game gets into the 4th quarter and it's relatively tight because the defenses dominate the game? Now we're talking about the youthful exuberance of a Cam Newton-led offense against an experienced, savvy veteran like Peyton Manning, who's been to this rodeo 3 previous times. And that's where it gets interesting. See, Russell Wilson never really got tested in his first Super Bowl because Seattle ran them out of the building, okay? That's what happened. The defense literally intimidated Denver's offense to the point where you had guys that, and I said this if you remember at that time, they were straight up punked. They were scared to go over the middle. They were scared to do anything. They didn't have Emmanuel Sanders that particular Super Bowl, but they did have Demaryius Thomas, okay? They had Eric Decker as the second wideout. But when you look at it now, you've got Sanders, you've got Demaryius Thomas, you got Owen Daniels, You've got C.J. Anderson and Ronnie Hillman capable of running the football effectively. You just got to ask yourself, can the game be close come fourth quarter? And if that answer is yes, then it changes everything, because now palms get sweaty. You understand? And things get a little bit different. That's the hope that I'm holding out for, because if there's one thing I despise in championship matchups, it's a blowout. As far as I'm concerned, it's supposed to be the best against the best. Don't have me sitting down to watch this Super Bowl, and in the first quarter, I already know the outcome because you get ramrodded. I despise nothing more than that on Super Bowl Sunday. So I'm of the mindset, just hoping and praying that it can be close. And as long as it's close, it changes everything, because then I think Denver's offense will become emboldened because they're still in the game. Cam Newton and that offense knows what it can do. That defense in Carolina knows what it can do. Denver's defense ranked 4th overall, #1 in yards allowed, #1 against the pass, #3 against the rush. They have emphatically stated what they can do. The only question in all of this is a big question in the fact that there are questions about Peyton Manning's offense in Denver. But if they can keep it close, okay, and we've got like a 17-13 score after 3 quarters or something like that, it could potentially change everything, because guys could be as calm, cool, and collected as they want to be with a Super Bowl championship on the line, okay? And you got 15 minutes left, and it's for all the marbles, and both teams are within striking distance. Palms can get sweaty, backsides can get tight, and the men from the boys get separated. Everybody can't handle those big moments. Let's see what happens.
You know, you missed your calling. You should have been in PR for either CBS or maybe ESPN, or for First Take, or for the Denver Broncos, because you're going Don King here. It's like fight hype, and you've got the underdog, right?
Only you want me to wave the American flag? Is that what you want me to do?
You needed
only
a flag. That would have been more impressive. You would have driven it home with the flag, because I'm going to hold your feet to the fire here. Do you really believe it's going to be 17-13 going to the fourth quarter? I don't
No,
either.
I said the operative word was hope. I hope that it will be tight, because I don't want a blowout. I want a nail biter.
Well, so
I want something akin to last year. I want something close. Please don't get me wrong. I don't believe it's going to happen. I believe Denver could be in a world of trouble. But I also believe that, again, if you are Carolina, and it's because sometimes they don't bring their A game offensively. Cam has been sensational, but sometimes that offense is not sensational. And if that happens and it's tight as the game wanes, I'm not worried about Cam, but is Ted Ginn going to drop a pass? You understand? I mean, is Funches real ready? I mean, he's a young dude. Is he ready? I mean, when you look at some of these guys, you just have to ask yourself those questions. The defense, are you going to take Peyton Manning for granted? Because let's face reality, they're not going to say it. They're going to give all the respect in the world to Peyton Manning. They're not going to admit publicly, but they don't think that Peyton Manning can really fling that football over the course of 60 minutes. Yep. They know he can make the pass. They know he can make a pass. But in terms of what their strategy is, if you neutralize the run and force this dude to drop back and pass and fling that football all night long, how long is he going to be able to do it over the course of 60 minutes? Because of it, it could provoke them to take chances they may not need to take risk they may not need to take. That's the kind of stuff that can make it interesting. That's what sports is all about. I'm holding out hope that it will be tight come the fourth quarter, because I love the moments where we're able to establish the men from the boys. And by the way, I would never, ever, ever be in PR. If I wasn't doing this, I would have been a criminal lawyer.
Johnny Cochran.
Yes, and by the way, I would say this to you. I would have been Johnny Cochran, God rest his soul. But if I was against him, O.J. Simpson would have been in jail the first time, because I never would have lost that case. I can promise you that.
We'll get to
I
that
would have beat Johnny Cochran in 1995.
We are going to discuss O.J. Simpson later.
Yes.
Maybe not that
I mean that from the bottom of my heart. I ain't joking. I would have beaten Johnny Cochran in that case.
That's
he wouldn't have beat me in that case.
But I'll leave that be. I'll let you hold on to that grand illusion.
They'd have never tried on the glove. They'd have never tried on the glove. I wouldn't have let that.
We need to keep rooting against the Cowboys and Brady because this relaxed Skip. I mean, no dog in the fight. You're so relaxed about this game.
Yeah,
you're just ready to go. You're
you're very blasé. I don't know about you. I don't know about you right now. I mean, you're very blasé.
Look, here's my bottom line to this. The only time I've ever seen a favorite crumble and get upset in the Super Bowl is when the favorite's quarterback, and I don't love this word, the CH word, but I'm going to use it, when he chokes, when the Super Bowl stage is just too big, Super Bowl stage fright. We saw it with Carson Palmer. I thought Carson Palmer would play much better. What was it Saturday? I'm losing. No, Sunday. Yeah, last Sunday.
Yep.
And then the previous Saturday.
Yeah.
He stunk it up in both games by his standards of the regular season and really his career standards because he just came apart. His nerves got to him. That's just me. I know he had a dislocated finger and maybe that factored in a little bit, but not that much. And my question becomes then, Is Cam Newton going to choke on the Super Bowl stage? No.
Well,
I just don't see. I'm sorry.
Well,
I know it's his first Super Bowl, but I don't see it.
I don't see that either. But let's also keep in mind that Peyton Manning, after winning his first Super Bowl, beating Brady in that AFC Championship game, then going to the Super Bowl and beating Rex Grossman and the Chicago Bears, he came back a few years later through the interception to Tracy Porter, you know, and that sealed the deal for the New Orleans Saints and Drew Brees when Peyton Manning threw that interception. Then they turned around, and then obviously he got drubbed by Seattle. So I don't want to call it choking, but an experienced veteran, universally recognized as one of, if not the greatest regular season quarterback to have ever played the game and clearly one of the greatest quarterbacks ever, did not really produce in 2 of his last 3 Super Bowls. Not entirely. Now, it wasn't his fault against Seattle. He had no help.
Okay.
But against New Orleans, that was on him. That was on their offensive coordinator. That was on the predictability of the plays that Reggie Wayne highlighted on the NFL Network last week. And if they kept running all afternoon long and Tracy Porter jumped the route and beat him to it.
That.
So, that's right.
It's blasphemy. You can't watch the NFL Network.
Well, I mostly watch ESPN. I mostly watch ESPN. I mean, damn, I can't watch. I got to have a life too.
You don't.
It can't be everything ESPN. I'm sorry. I love y'all. Happy to work here, but damn.
He used to watch me.
Yeah.
Hey, listen, I watch ABC. I watch ABC too. I mean, you don't have a bigger General Hospital fan than me. It's 40 years of counting. So that's Walt Disney.
Yeah.
Such a loyal viewer.
Oh well.
All right, this game also going to be broadcast in Spanish if people prefer to see it. It'll be on ESPN Deportes, 6:30 Eastern as well. Oh, gosh.
That's impressive.
Yeah, I'm sure he loves the Latin ladies. All right, we'll leave that there.
Yes, I do.
The other major storyline, we know you're from New York. Besides Carolina being heavy favorites is, of course, Peyton's future. Is this his swan song? Here's number 18.